What is your trust level? How much do you trust the Titans leadership to get this season back on track from a 1 through 10 standpoint? What are you seeing the chat saying out of this trust level from Titans leadership like Derrick Henry? And we'll hear from Ryan Tannehill here in a second.
Yeah, Richter says 5. Steven says 4. Eric says 8. Ronnie says 4.5. Steven says 2.59. A lot of low numbers here. Luman goes higher, 8.68. Scott says 6. Teddy Wap says 6. Robert says 6. Blake with a 4. Paulie with a 4. Colby with an 8. Let's see. Dustin L says 5.5. Jacoby says 6. Anthony says 2. Karen says 2.5. Guy says 3. Not much faith right now. Caleb goes 8. It's a health issue, not a leadership issue. We'll talk about that later, Caleb. So I'm glad you brought that up. Darren says 9. I trust Vrabel and believe in the players that they believe in him. So that is key. Denise says 5. Let's see. Rike T says 4. Albert says 8. Max says 6. 6.5 from Billy Jones. Titan Fox says 3. Borkington says 4. You can't leadership your way out of that offensive line. We heard a lot about Dennis Daly earlier in the week and how kind of atrocious his play has been and how, he's hurting this football team maybe more than he's helping it. That doesn't help, because Taylor Lewan is Dennis Daly, right? Like Dennis Daly shouldn't be playing. It should be Taylor Lewan, and Taylor Lewan is a leader. Like, whether you like him or not, you think he's a goon or a bussing guy, like, he's a leader. And it was an unfortunate set of circumstances that he tore his ACL earlier in the season, maybe due to a prior injury with the rehab of the knee. But I think Titans fans feel a lot different about this team if Taylor Lewan had been healthy. There's ifs and buts, beers and nuts. But William says 2. Jarvis says 5. Brian with a 1. A lot of low numbers. Austin, where are you on this when it comes to trust level of leadership for the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah, well, I do see Darian with a 9 and Auburn Titans fan with an 8.5, Wilson Gary with a 6. So there are some higher numbers there as well. Like, I think the core of this Titans team, and we have to think about this. Who is the core? The core has remained, for the most part, the same of Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, Ben Jones on the offensive side of the football. Those 3 guys down the center of the offense are great leaders, and I think will do a good job of leading their units. And then you have on defense, you have Kevin Byard, you have Jeffrey Simmons, and we'll talk about Danico Autry. I think he is a quiet leader that does a lot for this football team when it comes to leadership, but in a different style. And getting Danico back potentially at some point pre-playoffs is a massive deal. And we'll talk about injuries in a second. But you've lost some other leadership pieces on the defense, like David Long Jr., who has been an energy leader as well. So my overall answer is I believe in the core group of this team. I'm at a 7. I almost went 6.5, but I'm at 7 because I've seen.
It's not very confident.
We have to define,
bro.
Huh?
I think you slipped. I think you truly think 6. I don't think you're confident in your 7.
No, I'm confident in my 7 is because I think we've seen Derrick Henry be able to put this team on his back and not have the mistakes week after week like he had against the Jags with fumbling the football. We've seen at this point in the season, when the Titans get desperate, Derrick Henry is usually at his best. I mentioned the 2018 rut that they were in when they lost 5 of 7 games. Derrick Henry was a key component and the key component to get them out of that into a spot where they were playing to win and to get to the playoffs when Marcus Mariota's injury derailed things, right? We understand that. But Derrick Henry got them out of that rut. I think Derrick Henry can play the Titans offense out of the rut. I thought they were on the way to doing that. And honestly, I think the Titans offense wasn't that bad against the Jags until they could not stop turning the ball over. But when you look at the production they were getting offensively in the first half, they were moving the football. They were making plays. Derrick Henry was great in the run game. The offensive line was opening up holes. Pass catchers were making plays, whether it was Woods, Hooper, Chig, NWI, these guys were making plays in that first half. The turnovers just shot them in the face, and they couldn't overcome that. Nobody can ever overcome a shot to the face. And so that's what the turnovers were. So I like the things that they were doing. It's just they have to avoid the catastrophic mistakes. And I don't think they're going to do that again after turning the ball over 4 times against the Jags. That's why I'm at a 7.
This is kind of how I have put it together. I'm at a 6. I give 2 for Vrabel. I give 2 for Derrick Henry. I give 1 for Ryan Tannehill, who needs to be higher than a 1 if you're the quarterback. So I'm at a 5 right there, and I give a half a point to Jeffrey Simmons and a half a point to Kevin Byard. So I'm at 6.